we started with the S4 HANA Analytics, which is the another use case in our course. And then we started looking at the database, and we also started looking at the application. We also seen the front-end application tools, which are going to be if it is a for regular transaction processing and transaction analytics, it is going to be your Fiori, and external application is going to be on business objects, which is your analysis office and other tools. So you don't need a BW application to connect to S4 application for doing your business objects analytics. You can directly connect your ECC or S4 system to your BO analytic applications. Or you, on the other side, your regular front end for SAP ECC is going to be your Fiori application. Traditionally, you are having something called enterprise portal, webbed info applications, ALV, ALV reporting. All these are different front-end access GUI tools which are provided to ECC users so far. Now, in S4 HANA, it is for all the Fiori apps which are given to business users. So I'm saying this is the link which you can find, in which you can find all the standard business content or the Fiori library apps. So you can browse through for S4 HANA, all apps, by line of business, by industry, by role or application component, and etc. You can find by role is also very interesting, because you have this marketing manager role, sales engineer role, production engineer role. So according to your role, you will be seeing the respective apps. So account payable consultant, account payable accountant. So the guy who is working in accounts department is going to have this role, and all the apps which are specific to this particular role, you can find it here. So clear outgoing payments, that's an app. So with this app, you will be able to perform all the UI5 related activities, display checks, and etc. These are all the different apps. Okay, so when you have this app, you can find the app details in this place, what it is doing and what is the source for this one, what everything. If you want to see an account balance, you can see that app account. This is an account balance app. See, there is no such thing called HANA DB. These apps are front-end apps. There is no direct relation to the apps and the database. These are front-end applications, front-end apps. So when you install it, you're going to install on your front-end server, which is going to be your SAP Fiori server. Okay, so there is no direct relation. Fiori has no direct relation with HANA. That's another misconception people always get confused with. I've been telling many consultants that Fiori is just came along with HANA time. I mean, they got introduced in the same time. That is the only relation between Fiori and HANA. Otherwise, there is absolutely zero relation between HANA and Fiori. It's just that they got introduced in the same timing of 2015 or 2012 or something like that. They got popular on the same time. That is the only reason. Otherwise, there is no direct relation between Fiori and HANA. I have customers where they've been using Fiori with no access to HANA. They have no HANA presence there. Okay, so you just need an UI5 application to build your apps. Apps are like the Java developers, they build front-end apps, right, with HTML programming and CSS. You know it, right? So in order to create a page, you just need a in order to create a page, you just need a HTML programming, where you can go to W3 schools and practice an HTML page. Then you will be creating a page with some text boxes, some check boxes, some command buttons, and the background you will be able to write the code for that. Yeah. So similarly, UI5 is another application where you can build an front-end app with command buttons, a lot of library functions and etc. How does this app look like? I think I already shown you a simple demo. I can open my Fiori. This is my Fiori. So these are the tiles you will have. Um, as a controlling business user, I'm going to get these. I was working on controlling. So as a controlling user, cost accountant, let's say I'm a cost accountant, I will be getting these all the roles required for me. Sorry, all the apps are automatically published as soon as the installation is completed. So let's say I wanted to run an app called event-based revenue post-processing or run a accrual calculation. These are all going to be your processing apps, transaction processing apps. Usually you do all these things by SAP GUI, right? But in this S4 HANA, they are suggesting to do this in the Fiori apps. But you still can do all a lot of actions in the old place, but there are very limitations. I mean, all the new functionalities are given in this Fiori as an app. So for cost accountant, I am getting all these rules, so I can perform all my actions. This is outside of our session. You don't do all these things as an analytical consultant. I'm just showing how does the transaction ABAPers are going to work in S4 HANA. Okay, so let it open. It takes some time. And business consultant, it's not ABAPers, so it's going to work on this one. These apps are given to business consultants. All the roles and privileges you're still going to assign in the ABAP layer only. As soon as you assign those specific role, you're going to access those styles in the Fiori application like this. So I've got only controlling roles, so I can only see control. It's all going to be created in ABAP system only. The access, the catalogs, the definition, everything whatever you see, it's tightly integrated with ABAP gateway. Okay. So let it come. So that's about the apps here, and I'm not going to work on the apps. That is not my objective in this course. I just shown you how in these apps you got several transaction apps as well as several direct analytical means transactional analytics, back-end models to your front-end Fiori application. That is also I'm not covering. I'm also not covering how do you build these apps and how do you configure the UI5 library functions in order to get these apps. That is also not see, in order to get this one, you got a box here, you got these ones and then execute it. So which is like a standard ABAP report, right? See, but that means your Fiori, oh yeah, I have to provide all the necessary selections to run this report. Let me get out of no material number interval entered, please. Yeah. So this is not a proper tile. Should I get in it? Because I have to take the right ones. But you understand what I was trying to say, right? Let's say cost center controlling mass data. So in order to do the manage cost activity types, I can go in there. So you can see that all the configurations are done. If any customization required or any custom thing required, you need to be a good Java query, jQuery or AngularJS developer to establish the library functions and customize the UI5 library functions, and because every button, every code is going to run in the background in a UI5 tool. Okay, so that's about the front end. Let me go into the home. So in here I can go to query design. Here you can create a query based on CDS model. That is the one thing. I'm not going to do it. I have to first start with query. And similarly, I have something called query browser. So here all the consumption views of CDS views can be seen here. So that means if there is any already a consumption CDS view, it is directly automatically going to come here. Let's say cost center. So with that, you query browser, you can give the access to cost center actuals. So I'm going to select this one. This is a CDS view. We will see how to build this kind of views, but I can open in Design Studio here. Yeah, I opened in a different client, so I will not be able to get the data for this one. But I'm saying you can access the CDS views directly in this query browser and in a Design Studio mode, so that you will be able to report. I mean, the business user can see what exactly it contains. So similarly, you can build another CDS view, which is very complex, and automatically that is going to come here. Yeah. So that is going to come here, and then you just open it in Design Studio. I mean, I don't open it in Design Studio. The business user will open it in Design Studio, and then it's a web version of Design Studio, lightweight. If you wanted extensive dashboards, they will go with Design Studio, external Design Studio application, and provide a business objects link to the business users. But if it is a lightweight Design Studio analytical application, I mean, as soon as the user access to this query browser, he can access this particular CDS view, which is acting as a data source to that particular report, and then just open Design Studio will get into the report layout, where you can drag and drop all the rows and columns into wherever they want it to. We're going to see that in the next session. So let's come back to the back end. Then we will see the front end later. So what we are interested is only query browser and query designer in the Fiori application. We will not look into any of the transactional apps or transactional processing T codes, like creating material group, creating purchase order, approving purchase order. This is all kind of a workflow. Whatever you are doing in workflows and portal layouts are done using the Fiori, but that is a different case. That is for only for ABAPers and front-end developers. It has some problem in terms of accessing that. Let me exit the page. Okay, yeah. So I got some examples. Let's start with a few examples now. It's loading ABAP repository tree information. Okay, I'm going to do everything in my local package. So I'm going into my core data services here, and then data definitions. I can do it in this data definition, or I can open this one here in the data services. New. So access control is for the controlling access, and metadata extension is extension of the existing other ABAP repository objects. I'm not doing any other repository. I'm doing the data definition of core data services. So if I click on my this place, I will be asked to do other ABAP repository object, and then I will be choosing what object I'm looking for, like CDS. I think core data service. So core data services data definition. But if I am already in core data services folder, I defaultly it doesn't going to ask me. So I'm going to choose data definition, which is my core data services, and say next. I have to provide a name. Let's say I wanted to start with some material data. I give the name as this is going to be my private view, which is going to hit the database tables directly. And then I'm going to name it as material data. And then description, material data, and say next. As soon as I open this one, it's going to ask me transport request, and I don't want any transport request. I wanted to put it in a local transport, no change recording enabled for TMP. So it's going to ask me select template. What template I wanted to use. If I don't use it, it's going to create a plain window, but I'm going to start with some template. So basically, basic template is define view. So I'm going to choose define view template. Then save view. And as soon as I open my creation, I get the some annotations, 4 annotations here, and I start with define view. This is the annotations are going to be providing several information with respect to the view. So these are all ABAP annotations. Annotations in this it will tell the system what how this object has to be treated, how this view to be treated in the database. So as that's what I was saying, right? Conceptual to uh, implementation. So these annotations make you to do that. Annotations plus associations together make you, so you don't need to write a big SQL code in order to tell something that this is going to be working, going to be worked as a master data object. So you can just put an annotation to it, and then as you think what you wanted to write, use that as a master data dimension, then you just do that annotation. That is your conceptual idea, and then you put it in the annotations. You don't write a SQL for that. So let me see the annotation. What is going to be my annotation? View name I have to give, and then I can say, so this here, this is not the view name what I create. This is going to be the database view. So what I created is an ABAP view, data dictionary view. What here I have to mention is going to be the database view, which will be created in the database, which you can only access from the modeler or developer perspective. So I'm going to name this as JED P material underscore view or something like that. And then it is asking several other annotations. We will come to those filters, annotations later. Authorization check. I don't want to do any authorization check. So if you don't know what should be done, you just put control space. The code completion will come here. So the code completion, I'm going to say not required. If I say not required, then there is no authorization going to be performed on this one. And end user text, what end user should see for this particular view when if it is consumed by end user or any other view, then for the developer it is going to be seen. I'm keeping with material data, which is fine. So these are all some headings, some of the properties for this particular view, and we will see so many other properties in the future. So then the statement block define view. I'm going to define a view as select from my data source. I'm going to define my view just simply from table called Mara. You know Mara table, right? It's in the SAP system. So I'm going to read the data from Mara and what fields I wanted to keep it in that view. Do I need everything, or do I need, if I say control space code completion, it is going to display all the fields from this particular database table, Mara. So I need what, MATNR and client, that's it, that's enough. So I need MADNT, which is fine, and I have to specify, is it a key field? Yes, of course it's a key field. Yes, key, sorry, as client, and it is a key. Don't worry about the syntax, we will get the syntax. And then MATNR, which is going to be my material, as material, and then MAT, fine, I think I am fine with these things. So key definition from the key mandate, I'm defining these two fields as keys, client, and then this is the one. And what else I can take this from? I don't think I have anything. Just I can just take the material group also. which is MATKL. Okay, as group. That's it. My view. I'm going to create a basic view, and then it's still asking some syntaxes. Unexpected word group. So yeah, group is a keyword. So I have to say mat group. So I cannot use the SAP reserved keywords. So I have to explain. I have to know the reserved keywords by SAP so that I wouldn't use. So that's what it is complaining. So material group is done, and then I'm going to activate it. So activate is this one. It's going to syntax check and then activate it. Here you don't see difference between your SQL and this one, but you will see a difference between when you have more joins and one with other one, etc. But it is on OpenSQL. And then I pull the other client to see data because I don't have data in this. So I'm going to open my object. I have my core data services. I got data definitions. I've got my material data. So I can right click on this object and say open with data preview. So I can see all 100 rows here. I can also do an SQL console. This is the SQL generated for this particular thing what I have created. Yeah. This is the raw data. Number of entries that meet the selection criteria is 230, 2318. And then, yeah, you got all these things can be done in this place. You can modify your SQL, but that's not my job to do that here. I'm going to modify the view and see how I'm going to do. So that is the basic syntax. So clear, right? No big deal in it. Let me add a join to another table. That's going to be another syntax. So this syntax is done. So in my examples, what I have here, I am showing you a different thing, which is T001, which is going to be, you can do whatever. I also provided some notes here. You can see that's my database view. And yeah, compare filter, not required here because we can use, yeah, we'll see it in the later examples. Access controls not required. End user text, I put it in there. And I need these annotations. I have to specify what kind of virtual data model it is. You know it, right? Since I'm hitting the base one, it's going to be what? Basic. So start with annotation at, and then you got all the annotations here. My annotation is going to be VDM. So as soon as I type VDM, I get this one. So I can type VDM view, type. I don't need, I don't have a multiple things to do it. So I can just say VDM dot, yeah, VDM view type. And then control space. So I'm going to get what? Basic, composite, consumption, and extension. So these are the basic is directly what you hit the data. If my view is hitting the direct database tables, I'm going to use basic. If I'm using some intermediate layer, which is combining one transaction data with several mass data things, then I'm going to use composite view. And after all, I'm making a star schema thing final view, which is going to be consumption view. If I define my consumption view for this one, then it is going to be shown in analytical applications for Fiori, the one which I have shown you before. So I'm not there at right now. I'm going to say basic. And then is there any other annotation which I'm missing? Yeah, so I can do this one, which is analytical application, since I'm not using this view for any analytical purpose, and it is also not a dimension kind of, it's simple base table. So I'm skipping this annotation also. Okay, so then I define the fields for that view. You always use control plus space to control space can be used for code completion, so you'll get a prompts for all the fields of this table, and then you define all the fields, and then you can define field level semantics by using annotation here. So if I say if currency column in this table as a currency code, what happens, right? You when you define a semantic to a currency column as a currency, then you will be able to see attach it to this particular column to an amount field as a referencing currency. Yeah, so that is a semantics about. Yeah, so next example. Yeah, same thing, but in this place I'm joining my um, table, one table. No, I think I didn't even join here. It's going to be the um, same thing, but it's just an interface view. But I'm not doing any join. It's going to be the same, but I have I have provided another annotation, which is kind of analytics data extraction. Don't worry, we will see this annotations later in the next example. Yeah, so this is going to be a good example. So in this example, I have created a company code view, which is going to be joining T001, which is the company code information, with address. Yeah, address text, which is a address text is another CDS view which I already built above. So I join this table T001 with the above view, and then I'm able to combine both data sets together in this particular view. We're going to see that here in this one. Let me try to do a simple another view, or I can join the, yeah, I'm going to create another view for material type. This is done, right? Why it's complaining? I'm going to close it. I'm not going to save it. So I'm going to create a new view, which is going to be a data definition. This time I'm going to create a material text private view. Yeah, and then say text. I don't need any transport. It's going to create a basic view. Yes, there is no definition. Private view is, it was the name which is used in virtual data model of HANA Live. So whatever in your architecture, this is the table what you are accessing, the direct database tables. Those views are called private views or base views. And then whatever your composite views or intermediate views, you have it in the middle layer. And then finally your analytical views or consumption views, you will be on the top layer. So all your basic views or private views, whatever you call, it doesn't make any difference to me, which will hit the tables directly. Those views are based on those tables. And then you may create several dimension table views, and you may have some fact table views, but they will always hit the database table. And then in the cube level or composite level, you will combine your transaction data views, which are basic transaction data views, with the basic basic um, dimension views in the composite provider. And then finally you make all the analytical related things by aggregations and etc. You in the composition, in the consumption view. Okay, yeah. text view. It started. I'm going to keep it as mat text, and then I'm going to say no, right? So I'm going to say control space, not required, and then I'm going to keep the same name, and then I'm going to use the data source name from where MAKT. That's the text table. So what fields I require, which is key, is MATNR, right, as material. And what else I require? Text, right? I don't know what the field name is. MAKT. So I have mandatory here as well. Spras also I should be taking as key. And then I need just MATKX. Yeah, I'm not doing any language. Key MANDT as mandate or client. And then what I have is MA, MAKTX as description. So that's it, and my text view is built. I'm going to activate it. As soon as I activate it, I can refresh it here and then see the data. Yeah, it's there. I got this one, and open with data preview. You can see all the data here. So let me go and combine these two into one. I can call base view the combine one, or I can say interface view or the composite view. It really doesn't make any difference when I am calling it. It just sorry, I have to create the views in this place. I'm going to say data definition and say material master. So I'm combining attributes and a text together, which is a basic use case, right? So I'm saying jet material master, and I don't need the the authorization to be done. So control code completion and not required, and then define view. So I may need more annotations here. Let me give some space so that I can come back and do the annotations. And my data source here is in order to combine these two, what is my base left table? You know it, right? Material always text, it cannot be a left table. Your original material records are going to be test table, but here I don't have a table. I have something, a view, which is this one, material data. So I'm going to drag this to this place. Sorry. So I can do this way. I know the jet p underscore material data, right? And type this one and do code completion. I'm going to get this material data. So I've got my left table. I can do now a simple join. I'm not doing it, but you can. I'm saying you can do that, but I wanted to do it in a differently by using association. So there is a difference between you try that when you got time, you try that, but it's not really important for me to show you join, because you know how do the joins can work, you know, right? Join, just join the other, what is that, P, and say control C, and you got text, and then based on certain condition on same syntax as SQL, but that is not my idea, because you will know why I'm doing association when we advance to the next session. If I do the join, yes, I can do that, but still I am doing the OpenSQL, not complete CDS capability. So let me do it in a different way. From this table, association, sorry, and what table, what source, which is jetp underscore material. Um, so I have to define the cardinality first. Okay, let me get the syntax from this place. Yeah, I don't need it. Association, I have to define the cardinality. I don't know whether you'd know it or 0 to 1, I'll explain the cardinality. 2, what is my target? I'm going to have something called material text. That's it. And what is this association is called as? Let's say I wanted to keep it as association name as material master. Yeah. And then now here I'm going to define, I've made a join, I'm going to define all the fields required for my my view. So let me start with, so I can have either from this source or from this source. Now I have the privilege to have both. Oh, when I made the association, I also provide the join condition, right? So what is my join condition? I have something in common, which is mandate, or I also have something called material. So I'm going to use the just the material number for this case, because all others are same here. So I'm going to start with dollar projection control projection dot control space. Yeah, I should get my field name from material. MATNR is equal to, and on the right hand side, what is the field name? Association dot material number, which is my this one. Sorry, I will say text. And I can call it as text. Easy purpose. Okay. And then I start defining. I made the join, and then I start defining the columns. I need just the mat and near as material, which is going to be from it from the first one, and which is going to be a key. And then I want text dot description, which is going to be text. I also wanted the group, right? So I can go into what is the field, control space, material group. mat group as mat. Done. Still failing. Column matner is unknown. Why my matner is unknown here? This one should have it. Let me do the control. Okay, so I changed my matner field value to material. So I cannot use the original names when I made an alias to that. So this is the alias here, and similarly I also changed matner to material. So I don't need to do it again. You understand, in my basic view I already defined this also. Material group, mat group, right? That's it. And that's it. What is the last error? Table name projection unknown or shadowed by an alias. Column matner is not contained in the entity selection list. Okay, yeah, again, matner is not the field, it is material. And then the last one, SQL name material master. Oh, cannot be identical. So my SQL database view and this the CDS view cannot be same. So I would remove this material master SQL, I would say. And that's it, all done, activated. Yes, that's right. So left table is identified as projection. So if I do my projection, all this left, I don't call it data table, I call it as a source, data source here. And then right is going to be, I'm referring right as something here with text, so that is going to be this one. Okay. And the cardinality, I'm saying 0 to 1 means I'm specifying that I'm expecting at maximum one record for the join I'm making here. I will not expect any more record for one record in my left. Either I can get 0 record or at least or maximum one record, but not more. If I say star, it is one too many. I may get for one record from my left table, there may be 100 records also, you never know. If I specify this one, I know that my cardinality is either nothing or at least one material I will, sorry, not at least, maximum one material. I'm saying from the material, if I have a material number as 10002, maximum I can get only one data record for 10002 in my target table. That's what the cardinality means. It's activated. I go back to text and then not in this one, and open with data preview. So you can see the description now came in for all the materials. So now I'm able to get the material. Why did I should be looking for, sorry, this is already, we have it. I'm looking for something new, which is material master data. Data preview. So now I'm getting material group as an attribute and text from the description table. So this is a simple dimension view. So I build it. It doesn't have to be a dimension view, and it cannot be identified as a dimension view until I provide some annotations. So for that, I will go into this place. I'm going to add annotations to it. Add. So how do I tell whether it is a dimension or cube or etc.? I've got analytics annotation, which is and I can go and type analytics dot data category colon code completion aggregation level cube dimension fact. It's going to be a dimension. That's another annotation. So then it is going to be identified as a dimension in my analytics. Clear? Something similar to your calculation view with dimension. So there's no HANA views again. This is going to be an SQL view. It is going to create a database view. So HANA view means I think it's going to be I mean to say database view. It is not any of the calculation views type. Yeah. So let me run the another annotation, and this time I'm going to have the VDM view type. What view type you think? Basic, composite, and I can put it in composite because I'm not directly hitting any of the any of the tables here. I'm hitting the other views. Okay. Yeah, you can see the HANA view. Yeah, sysbic, it's all, no, this sysbic, it's all repository objects when you're working in native HANA. That is a system owner. So this is going to be owned by, ABAP system user. So that is going to be a different schema, and then under that particular schema, you will see the database as it is as a database views. It's going to be a different schema. These are all views are owned by your ABAP owner schema, SAP ECC or SAP one big schema, not the system schema. Okay, now I added this composite view as type, and then can it provide a data to another one? Yes. So for that, what should I do? Data category, analytics, data category, data extraction enabled, true. Yeah, you can do this way, or analytics, type in everything, analytics dot data extraction, data extract dot enable colon true. Yep, done. 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 So that's building a composite view. Clear? So similarly, I can build a composite view, which is a join with a transaction data, which is my purchase requisition or purchase orders, which contains header and I'm going to build two basic views for header and item. Okay, which are private views. Similarly, as I did it, I should name it as I can name it as it's a defined view as what is that called? Composite provider or interface. So similarly, I'm going to create two other private views for transaction data. Yeah, since I already built this, I cannot do the rename something like that. Anyway, let me close this and say refresh. Okay, so I'm going to build two another private views or basic views for transaction data to combine header and item. And then I'm going to build another intermediate view or interface view or composite view to combine the data from these two, I mean, the master data dimension view together. So that composite view contains transaction data as well as my master data together. And then finally, I'm going to build some aggregations and further semantics using in the consumption view or analytical view. That's going to be the last one. So we're going to see them in the tomorrow session, building those intermediate interface view for transaction data and finally analytic views as a composite view. I've given some documentation. We can go through this one when we got to see there. So what is the question? So OData, don't worry, it's a simple one annotations. Just do OData publish, that's going to be publishing this view as a OData, but you don't worry much about the OData. So if you say just going in there and then do the annotation something like at OData and code completion, you get OData published. That's it. Nothing big there. You're done. It's going to be available as a OData service consumption if you already set up OData gateway for your backend system to your front end system. Then you can get that service, right? The service which is published after activating it, and then use that service, the trust service, to call the API. Thank you.